This is another video for your Geogebra assignment. And so first thing we want to do is open up a new window, and let's go to www.geogebra.org/geometry. Okay. And once we're there, all right, make sure your thing says Geogebra Geometry. And you want to make sure that you sign in with your Google account. All right, so sign in. You'll have a window that pops up. Use your school Google account to sign in. All right, the next thing that we want to do is let's create a line on our page here. All right, now you can make the line using whatever points you want, but I'm just going to click two random points here, A and B there. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do, let's click on the More button, and let's click on Parallel Line. All right. Before we do Parallel Line, let's actually make another point here, which we will call point C. Okay. And so point C, let's click back on Parallel Line here, and we want to select a point or parallel line. So select this point C first, and then this line here, and that will give us a parallel line. All right. Let's create another point over here, point D. All right. And then the next thing I want to do is let's create a third line, and this is going to be our transversal. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start up here. All right. So anywhere up here you can put this point. So I'm going to put a point E here and point F down here. All right, so we have two parallel lines that are being cut by a transversal. The next thing I want to do is create points at those intersections of those lines. All right, so we'll have G and then we'll have H. All right, and so you should just have these 8 points out and created your lines, these two parallel lines in your transversal. Okay. The next thing we want to do is measure all of the angles that are created here. Okay. And so we need all those points to do that. So to measure our angle, all right, we're going to select 3 points or 2 lines. Let's measure angle AGE, and that's going to be 60. Well, let me grab my move button. All right, that's going to be 60.8. All right. Now, the next thing I want to do, let's measure angles again, and let's select 3 more points. Let's select EGB, and that's 119.2. Let's move that over so that we can make sure that that's what that is. Okay. And so we've got that there. All right, now let's go ahead and measure all of the other angles. So let's measure angle AGH. All right, that's also going to be 119.2. Let's measure angle HGB. All right, and let's use our move button to move those over. And what we notice is that those angle measures that are across from each other, these are going to be congruent. So 60.8 and 60.8, those are congruent. And then 119.2 and 119.2. All right. All right, let's do the other 4 angles down here. So let's measure that angle. Let's do GHD. All right. And let's move that over. And notice that this angle here, 60.8, is congruent to this angle here. These are alternate interior angles. And then these 2 angles are corresponding, and they're congruent. All right. And that's mainly just because these 2 lines here and here are parallel. All right, let's measure the other angles. So let's do GHC. All right, let's click our move button and move that up and over. Notice how that's congruent to its corresponding angle and its alternate interior angle. All right, so then let's measure the angle here, and this is FHD, and that's 119.2. All right, and so that's going to be congruent to that. And, these are congruent because they're alternate exterior. These are vertical angles, and these are corresponding angles. All right, the last one, let's measure that angle of FHC, and that 60.8. Let's move that over so that we can see that. All right. And so you just notice that, these two angles are congruent and the same corresponding angles are congruent as well. And the same thing goes for these two angles and these two angles. All right. So everything's the same based on what we did on the other video. All right. So now let's go down. Last thing we want to do, let's add some text. Okay. And let's just put up here text, and we're going to put our name, and then we'll put the date, which is 12/3-2020, okay? And let's click OK. Now you put your actual name here, and that's good to go, all right? And then let's go ahead and click on the share button, all right? And we're going to save that this drawing, and let's just call it the 12/3-2020 drawing. And we want to make sure that we click the shared button, and then we'll click save. Okay, once we click save, it's going to save that to our account, and then we want to make sure that we copy this link. Okay, and this is the link that you need to submit into Google Classroom in addition to doing the Edpuzzle. So that's all I've got for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and hopefully after doing this, it makes sense. Now, the one thing I will say, guys, is that your numbers should be different than mine, okay? That's totally okay, and they should be different. If you have the exact same numbers that I have, all right, then that's a little troubling because the odds of that happening are pretty slim. So, yeah, you should have, different angle measures, and that's totally fine, but they should be congruent to each other, all right? So that's all I got for this. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.